What better knowledge, I thought, during this quarantine when you are sequestered away with your man for a prolonged period of time than the knowledge of becoming an attractive woman, seductive and feminine to your man. If that's something you'd like, I want to share with you the triangle, the triad of becoming attractive to your man, and a couple of ideas and tools that I want to give you for you to consider when it comes to becoming attractive to your man. Now, I'm not saying these are prerequisites so that you can become attractive to your man. I like to begin with every relationship has individuals partaking in the relationship. In other words, every single person is different and has their very own specific individual desires, likes, and wants. So this is just some tools for you to consider, to apply, and see for yourself whether it works. Now I started a dating coaching company back in 2009, 2010, that time. And all throughout the years have consulted men and women on dating and relationships. And so while this is not applicable to everybody, this is sound and applicable to most. And while everything may not be applicable to you, I want you to try it out. I like to say that when I share ideas with you, I want you to never take my word as scientific fact, even though it's based on scientific evidence. I want you to take everything I say with a grain of salt, sometimes a table of salt. I like you to be more critical than ever. I like you to practice critical thinking always, especially with me. And I want you to try it out for yourself and see if it works. And until you try it out for yourself, and in fact, with any information, with any quote-unquote knowledge that you receive from some source, I want you to always try it out, because remember, there is no confidence without experience. There's only estimation. You can never be confident about any information, no matter how much scientific method you apply to it, until you've applied it to yourself, you've tested it out, and you've confirmed for yourself it's true. This is critical nowadays when you hear the news. It's election season. So you hear the news, and a lot of people, particularly on the left, are taking things without a grain of salt, without any grain of salt. They're taking things as truth, whether or not having considered whether or not it's true or not, and having confidence over things they've never experienced. They weren't there. And they just take what the news says as truth and having confidence over that. So, going back, I'm going to give you some tools for you to become an attractive and feminine woman to your male partner. Some you'll agree with, some you will not. But I guarantee you, if you try it, more than likely, it'll work. Some of it will make logical sense. Some of it you'll question. But when you try it, you'll find out for yourself what works, what doesn't work. And sometimes you'll hear some of the tools that I'll give you, and you'll try it out, and maybe you'll try it out not exactly what I told you to do. And so either you try it in a different way, you revise it, you refine it, because it makes sense, it might work. What you're doing now is not working. If what you're doing now is working, and you know your partner intimately, you know what they like, and you know what they don't like, then perhaps you may not want to try it, but I do want you to consider it in the back of your mind as a thing that does exist, as a tool that does exist for you. And may be applicable at some point. Perhaps what you're doing now works, but this could work better. So I want to begin with the trifecta, the triangle of becoming an attractive woman to a man. But I'll begin with the feminine and the male, the the feminine and the masculine energy. Now, we are an evolution from an embryo, and I like to make this analogy of the egg and the sperm. And the egg, what the egg does is the feminine energy. The egg sits there and receives the sperm, and the sperm, what the sperm does is there's about, in first ejaculation of a male, after a while, is 500 million sperms produced, depending on the man and their age. 500 million, half a billion produced, and that goes into the vaginal canal, and each one fighting their way to impregnate the egg. And so only one sperm makes it out of 500 million. Now, what the sperm does from the outset, from the get-go, is it pursues. It has a goal, and it pursues it, and it goes after it. And the egg, the female egg, it just waits there and receives. Now, I want you to think of yourself, the female energy, evolution of that. As a female, a lot of females have a problem receiving. So a lot of females take on the masculine energy. Now remember that we are all a mixture. I am a mixture of masculine and feminine energy, and you are a mixture of masculine and feminine energy. It's just a matter of how feminine you are, how much you're comfortable indulging yourself into your female energy, and how much you are in your male energy. If you have a male counterpart, or rather, if you have a masculine counterpart, whether that's a female with a male energy, or a male with a female energy, whatever the case is for you, there's a dynamic, there's a fantastic dynamic. The best dynamics are when one is a feminine and one is a masculine energy, whatever their sex orientation is. They have a specific kind of energy. One is the receiving energy, the female energy, and one is the pursuing energy, the male energy. That is how we've evolved. Now, you say, well, we're even keel. I want you to really revisit that and rethink that, because relationships that are even, which are, in other words, there are even female male energy and even female male energy, there is no polarity. The polarity is what, the further the polarity, the more the sexual intensity there is in the relationship. When it's even, there's not much sexual intensity there. So, going back, in any relationship, whatever the sexual orientation, there is a female, or not female, there is a feminine energy and there's a masculine energy. The feminine, remember, is one who is receiving, one who is the receiving energy, and the male is one of the pursuing energy. Because we evolved to have the pursuing energy, to be pursuing, to be setting goals and pursuing that goal. You may be a female with indulging yourself in a lot of male energy because you have a business, you have goals, you want to pursue those goals, and that's fantastic. That's great. That's great for business. That's great for productivity. And it's important that you allow yourself and you are comfortable with doing that, because that's a very masculine energy, and that's very good. I'm talking about evolution. Okay, so evolutionarily, we have genes, and our genes are selfish genes, and our genes' only purpose is to replicate, survive, and prolong its existence. That is the sole purpose of our genetic makeup. Now, over a long period of time, millions of years, we have existed in a particular way, and only very small period of that time, did we exist in communities larger than 50 plus people in a tribe. We now exist in communities, and even you could even argue that we exist in communities, international communities, where you're now no longer just involving yourself in 50 plus people, tribes. You're now involved in a whole worldwide community using technology, social media. For example, you may have never met me, you may have interacted with me very little, but you are interfacing with me in a very specific way, and I'm interfacing with you in a very specific way. So we've evolved in that sort of way. Pursuit and receptivity and being able to reproduce. Remember, our goal is to reproduce, and for that to happen, one has to be able to survive, and one has to be able to nurture their offspring. So going back, the female, the feminine, this is very important to know. The feminine is receiving, the masculine is pursuing. It doesn't mean that you've got to be all feminine, but when it comes to becoming attractive to your man, attracting your man, you must step. If you want that man to be able to step into his masculine energy, which he likes, if he is the kind of male who likes to be masculine, then you must allow yourself the comfort to step into your feminine energy. Now, I like to say that, and you probably already recognize this, that it's hard to become feminine when you don't trust your man to become masculine. And so here's what I'll tell you. I will give you some tools for you to be able to do that, and I'll give you some tools for you to be able to facilitate it. Do you understand the word to facilitate? To facilitate is to create an environment where something can occur, something can prosper, something can manifest that you would like, preferably. So here's a trifecta. Let me begin with number one is feeling statements and boundaries. As a female, you recognize that men in general don't really like being told what to do. And so how are you able to communicate with them in a way where you don't tell them what to do? Here's where it's important for us to go back to the notion receiving and pursuing, feminine and masculine. For you to be able to tell your man something without telling him what to do, whenever you make things happen, you are stepping into your masculine energy. Whenever you're pursuing something, I want you to get this. A lot of women in their relationships, when they're quarantined, they do this and they don't know they're doing it, and it's detrimental to your relationship. It is off-putting to a man, and you think you're doing the right thing when actually you're creating the opposite effect. You're creating resentment. Remember that when you are pursuing something, when you're making things happen, you are stepping into your masculine energy. When you are leaning back, when you are waiting, when you are receiving, just like the egg is receiving and waiting and being warm, you are stepping into your feminine energy. I want you to look into your life and then look into your relationships and look at where you're making things happen. Do you understand? Where you're pursuing things, you're pursuing your man, you're making him do things, or you are making things happen in the relationship, you are in your masculine energy. Okay? So, how do you tell a man something while being feminine? You have to practice something called feeling statements and boundaries. So, as a woman, whichever your gender is, as a feminine individual, you're receiving. So what language does it look like for you to make things happen without making things happen? If that makes sense. You tell your partner feeling statements. I really feel like I want to go out tonight. Or I really feel like I want some sushi tonight. What do you think? What do you think? Allow the masculine person the opportunity to now make things happen. You're allowing them to step into their masculine energy. Now, let me just point out to you that I understand your contention. I understand as if I'm more of an advocate for freedom of the feminine individual, freedom of women. More than anybody, my book, Relationships 101, is all about female independence. But if you want to attract your man to you, this is not manipulation. This is not playing games. This is tapping into your feminine energy and allowing yourself the grace and honor and respect to the comfort to become the feminine individual that you are. Why? Because you enjoy being feminine. You enjoy being feminine. So feeling statements and boundaries. So what if the man wants to do something, the masculine individual wants to do something, wants to pursue something or make something happen, and you're involved with you, and you don't like to do that thing? How do you tell him or tell that person you don't want to do it without having to make things happen or telling that person what to do, which is a masculine trait? Here's what you do. You point out your boundaries, feelings and boundaries. You say, I really appreciate that. I feel so good. I feel so special when you think of me and interact with me in that way, and you think of all these things that we can do. But I don't really like sushi. What I'm actually feeling like maybe is something more like Thai or Italian. What do you think about that? Do you notice how all I've done is I've shared what my boundaries are, something I'm not willing to tolerate, and then I'm sharing my feelings, what I feel, and then giving that person the opportunity to pursue, to make things happen, masculine energy, step into their masculine energy, which they enjoy, and then they're telling him, what do you think? Now, I understand a lot of women that step into their masculine energy might be watching my video. So this is only if you want to facilitate the man being attracted to you. You may be the kind of person who likes telling the person what to do. Good on you. The male that you're partnered with might be the kind of individual who likes to step into his feminine energy. Nothing wrong with that. And would like you to lead. Nothing wrong with that. This is in the context of the feminine and the masculine energy, and how you can allow and facilitate that with your partner. Moving forward, I want you to get your man, or get your male, your masculine person. I want you to get him. Now, for all intents, to make it easier for myself and easier for all of us, for all intents and purposes, when I say man, I'm just going to mean masculine person. Whatever gender it is, if it's a masculine individual, this is for all intents and purposes. So I want you to really, really get your man. And how do you get them? You have, as a feminine person, you have to get them. You have to have empathy. You have to have compassion. You have to have appreciation. You have to receive. You have to be able to receive. In the context of really, really attracting your man, I want you to listen to what he's saying and Listen to what he's saying and repeat it back to him. And begin with, you must feel this way. And I want you to pace reality. Kind of like fortune telling, kind of like cold reading. When he feels like you really get him, he will feel, wow, this girl really gets me. And how do you do that? You take a look at his face while he's communicating with you, as he's explaining how his day went or how his work day went, whatever it is he's communicating with you. Take a look at his face, take a picture in your mind, what that face looks like, and then say, wow, so you must really feel, imagine that face that you took a snapshot on his face, and then try to imagine what emotion he must be feeling during that. Oh, you must have been feeling really frustrated about that. And then just communicate like that. You must feel this way. And it will encourage them to talk more. And then when you are receiving, part of being a receiving energy is to be non-judgmentally accepting. This applies to all parties, but you got to be non-judgmentally accepting of the individual. You have to accept them for who they are. You can trust men to be men. You can trust your partner to be the individual that he is. You can't trust your partner to be the individual he is not. You can't trust John to be Michael. You can't trust your person to be another person. Your person is a complete individual with their individual traits and cherishes and desires and wants and likes. You can't trust men to be women. I'll go over for men how to attract your woman, but this is for you. You can't trust men to be women. Do you understand? So you have to be non-judgmentally accepting. I really, really, really encourage you to read my book. Let me grab it for you. Okay, I really need you to read this book. Grab this book right away. Amazon.com, Relationships 101 by Ron John. That's Ronejohn. Why? It's because you want to learn the difference between men and women. Because guess what? You don't know that difference. Most women, most individuals, men and women, don't know their partner. They project what they like about themselves onto their partner, and they imagine what they like must be what their partner likes. It goes much, much deeper than that, and I'm not going to go over that. I really just encourage you to get that book. Okay, so number 3, you have to surround yourself with male energy. You surround yourself with male energy so you can practice being receptive. Receive the gestures, the attraction gestures of men, of masculine people, whatever their gender is. Practice receiving. Friends, you know for yourself what your boundaries are. You know for yourself you can be trusted. If you are in a monogamous relationship and there's no trust, you're not in the right relationship. Going back, I was cut off. My camera cut off. Going back, surround yourself with male energy for you to be able to practice becoming more and more feminine. You surround yourself with male energy, receive the male or the masculine energy, receive the gestures of attraction, receive with feeling statements and boundaries. You can always assert your boundaries. We don't live in tribes anymore. You have female rights. Women's rights. You have rights as an individual, whether you're male or female, to assert your boundaries and not do things you don't want to. When you receive the gestures of masculine people, You say, oh, thank you, that's so sweet. I really love that you feel that way. Thank you. You don't have to engage with them in any romantic or sexual manner. That's your boundary. Perhaps you have a partner who you like as a partner and you're not really into pursuing other men. It doesn't mean you can't surround yourself with male energy and become feminine and to be able to receive the male gestures or the masculine gestures of attraction. Now, to end this video, let me go over 2 more tips, 2 more tools for you to be able to step into your feminine energy and really, really attract the masculine individual in your relationship. I want you to lean back. I want you to lean back physically and energetically. Lean back. Relax. I want you to look at the most feminine individuals that you know, and I want you to look at their cadence of speech. You will notice that the most feminine of the individuals that you know, they talk much, much slower when they are in their feminine energy. There are a lot of masculine women, but when they are in their feminine energy, they talk much, much slower, much, much more relaxed, much, much more receptive. Do you understand? Do you see it? I had, for example, a massage client just yesterday, and when she came in, she was a little nervous and she was really speaking really fast, and I can tell she was a leader. She owned a company, and she was very into her masculine energy. And of course, I do tantra therapy. So after it, after the whole our session, she was talking much, much slower. She was more into her feminine energy. She was much more relaxed because being the relaxed person and being in the feminine energy, she was much more relaxed communicating and slower in her cadence. So lean back, receive, literally lean back and literally receive, having a receptive energy with your man. And I want you to become practice being receptive of your gestures, or receptive of anything, receptive of communication. That when you have a challenge with receiving, it is an inside job. You have to see why it is, introspect, why it is that you have a problem receiving, problem of self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, whatever the case is, and work on that. And maybe perhaps contact me and I'll help you with that. Or go to greatrelationshipsyou.com. We really help you with your inner work. And number 2 thing before I leave is I want you to practice distance and warmth. You have a problem with distance and warmth. I know. I understand. I've worked with so many women. Okay, you have a problem with distance and warmth. You have a problem when your man doesn't pursue you. You have a problem when your man doesn't make things happen for the relationship. You have a problem when your man is not going up to you and making things happen with you. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to allow it to happen. I want you to lean back and do not make things happen. Maybe in your business, make things happen. Step into your masculine energy as much as you want. That is fantastic. When you're productive with your work, fantastic. Step into your masculine energy. Make things happen. Pursue things. When you have a goal, pursue things. Whatever goal it is. But when it comes to your wanting your man to become attractive as hell to you, do not make things happen. No matter how much. There's so many dishes in the sink. And my man just doesn't wash the dishes. How do I make him do it? How can I make things happen? Here's the challenge. Don't let that sink be filthy. Maybe later on, you can share how you feel. But don't make things happen. Let it go, let it be stinky. If you've had enough of it, you could say, Hey baby, I just wanted to come up to you that I just really feel disgusted about the kitchen, how dirty it is. What do you think? Do you savvy? I know, I understand that you want to make things happen. So, distance and warmth. If you want to facilitate your man's masculine energy of pursuit to pursue you, you have to step into your feminine energy and receive. Don't make things happen. Allow for things, lean back. And what does that require? That requires for you to have shit to do. That requires for you to have a full and luscious life. That requires for you to surround yourself with feminine energy, have friends. That requires for you to have a pursuit of your own in your life. That requires for you to surround yourself with male energy. Whatever it is, do what you need to do so that you can facilitate attraction in your relationship. Because if you can't facilitate attraction in your relationship, there will be no attraction. And that would be the death of your relationship. So what are the key takeaways for you during this video? Really, really get that book. You really need to know the distinction between men and women. Here it is again. Relationships 101. Go to Amazon, type it in. It's $9 on Amazon. Best money you'll ever spend, I guarantee. Or your money back. If you're not satisfied with reading the book, message me. I will give you your money back. I don't mind. I'm not here to make money from this. I'm here to educate you. Second thing, really find out where you are making things happen in your life in terms of your relationship with your man, and try to step into your feminine energy so you can facilitate his stepping into masculine energy. Why? Because you enjoy it, you will enjoy it once you get used to it, and he will enjoy the fuck out of it. He will love feeling masculine in the relationship. But guess what? You're the one facilitating it, aren't you? Alright, I'll see you in the next video.